Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Go! Today, guys, might be a bigger video, we don't know, maybe not. A few things to go through. First, I got another gift, so this is pretty cool. I got this gift from Queensland, so really cool. So, Central Coast Bonsai Club is, well, that's probably not Queensland. That's probably New South Wales, Sammy. You are an idiot, mate. Anyway, this is Bonsai Open and Shohin Pot Competition. So, let's have a look what I've got first. I'll just see if you guys can see me. Yeah, I'd say Central Coast, New South Wales, you know. Hopeless. Right. What do we got? What do we got? I've already had a bit of a sneak peek, guys, but here we go. Right. Look at that. Bonsai Open. There we go. Central Coast, New South Wales. Jeez, I'm an idiot. Look at that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. March 2022. I'll give you guys a bit of details about it. So that's a medium size, I think. Here's a here's a large. Right, we'll put the large on. Excuse the old, you know, hairy dad bod. We can't all be picture perfect models. Let's get her on. That's better. Look at that. Bloody beautiful. Right, fits perfect. Now, let's have a look at this. Okay, open to all bonsai artists. The Bonsai Open is a premier Australian competition to ensure exceptional bonsai are exhibited. A significant prize pool has been offered. First place, $3,000. I believe anyone across Australia can enter and send a bonsai. Obviously, Tasmania and Western Australia won't get it back because of the quarantine laws. But you could then, maybe if you won the show, you could then pass it on or sell it, or I mean not pass it on, but sell it to someone over in New South Wales or Victoria. It's an option. First place, $3 grand. Second place, $1 grand. Third place, $500. Best Australian native, $500. I think they should up that. I reckon they should. Should be a bit more. Anyway, let's keep going. So there's going to be demonstration. Really good bonsai on display. Obviously your bonsais if you display them. If you're not going to display them, please go along anyway, because if you can, because the more people that enter, display and go along, the more that we promote bonsai. And the more that we promote bonsai, the more value that they're worth. People actually start to value them, because Australia is about last place in the value of them. Something here for $500 would probably sell in the US for, I don't know, $3,000, $4,000. And pots are the same. So there's Shohin Pot Open. First place, $400 for the best pot. Second, $150. Third, $75. And same thing, our pots, you can get a really good quality pot, handmade, custom made from an Australian potter for $300 to $400. Might sound dear, but then you go over to the US and a really nice handmade pot of a bigger size is about $1,000. So, you know, let's support the potters, the bonsai people. Go and have a look. Enter one yourself. I believe entries have to be in by about mid-January. So make sure you go and have a look at that. I've got details here. Anyway, let's look on the back, bit of writing. G'day Sam, t-shirt for you, a spare to give away. or kick if you want, although it might be a bit of a muscle top. You got that right, because it's medium. Thanks for giving us a plug. There'll be a stack of amazing trees from Victoria, Eastern States, and a shame you can't make it. I know, mate. This whole COVID bull crap. Maybe next time I might make it across. Anyway, every time I see you drinking a ton, I won't give you one of ours, because tons don't look great at all. Can't say I've ever tried one, but basically he's not eager to. He had something similar and that was pretty ordinary. Love watching your videos, especially your go-to attitude. Love your trees too. You got some crackers. I hope you enjoy the shirt. Thanks again. Rob Darnley. Darnley? That sounds wrong. Anyway. All good. Right, let's I'll just hold this up so you guys know where to email and enter and have a look at it for yourself. So I'll hold this up for a bit. I might even put a photo in there actually. Decent photo of it, so that you can pause it, get details down. I wish I could. Anyway, Rob. Cheers, Rob. Thanks for the shirt, mate. Happy to promote bonsai in Australia, no matter where it is, because the more we promote it, the more popular it gets, and the more popular it gets, the more people that will, you know, be able to enjoy with. So what's he giving us here? He's got sick of me drinking these ton beer. So he's got me in a original Stone and Wood Pacific Ale. So he reckons that's the gear. So I'm going to put that straight in the freezer. Maybe by the end of this video we'll be able to give it a taste. See how we go. Alright guys, so there you go. We've got the shirt on. Got the beer in the freezer. Might be able to enjoy it at the end. If it's not quite cold, don't worry. I'll just pause the filming and wait till it's cold, and then I'll give it an honest review too, mate. If it's crap, I'm going to say it's bloody crap, alright, Rob? I'm not going to hold back. Alright, let's get to this tree. So this tree, actually I've got another thing. This tamarind, this is a tamarind I did with the Mars Hydro, and I seeded it in winter. Anyway, the tamarind and the rain trees all died, and I thought, oh, that's it, they're done. I'll just try and bring some light over. I thought, that's it, they're done. It looks done, doesn't it? But it's not. Just got struggling with the light here. Alright, let's have a look. Can we see? There's a bloody phone call. Alright, I hope you guys can see that bud is green. There's even one up near my thumb there. Which is green. Which means this thing here might actually regrow. Pretty exciting. So that's the tamarind. So there's one bit of little news. Anyway, this Chinese elm, guys, I worked on in spring, well, late winter, spring, when it was just about to shoot. And you can have a look at that. Look at that. Woohoo! Woohoo! Can you see me? Can you see me? Look at that. That growth is amazing. I walked away from it for 5 minutes, and it's now shading out all my benches. Basically, I'm going to give it a Walter Paul haircut, hedge trim style. But if you guys can remember, back when I did this tree, I had a few interior branches that I still wanted to grow, so I had them grown out 6 foot, 8 foot long out to the sides, and I chopped them back in the last video. Really hard, well inside the interior of the tree. And when I did that, I said that because they were really thick branches with a lot of energy going to them, that even though the rest of the tree was budding out as well, the interior ones would bud out faster, catch up and pass the other branches at the top, what I originally stated. And it looks like it's happened, because here is one of them. I'll just give it a shake, one of those really top ones up the top. But what I've got to do is, while I hedge it, I've got to be careful not to cut them off, because I don't want to cut them off now. I actually just want to let them grow strong for the rest of this year, so they'll be really nice strong shoots. Unless of course it's one up near the top of the tree and I don't want it to be too strong, then I will chop it back now. And also, if I was to chop it back now, because the rest of the tree has got leaf on it now, there's a possibility chopping it back hard now would actually shade it too much and it could die out. Whereas when the whole tree was starting to bud at the same time, it had light, so it could really shoot away quick. So I'm going to leave it on the outside of the tree, possibly wire it in winter if it doesn't get too fat. I'll do the best I can just to shape it a little bit. But in general, those shoots, I'll show you at the end, have really gone crazy. So there's also a small branch here that I've left. That one has struggled, but it was never actually a really strong branch anyway, apart from a few up here on the outside of it. But anyway, so I'm going to hedge most of it. A couple of the low ones we're not going to touch at all, they're just a bit too weak. But the top ones, we're going to start by hedging the top, and I'm going to try and keep an eye on the ones that I want to keep. So let's get a bit closer just to show you. So if we come and have a look under here, right, you'll see this one here was on a weaker branch anyway. We'll go under it. So it's on a weaker branch anyway. But then when you come up that branch, you've got a few strong ones coming out here. But because that's up high, I'm going to cut that back, but I'm going to leave this low one to grow out until next pruning at least, to try and gain some strength. And when I cut back the top, it's actually going to allow these bottom ones to grow out really good. Look at that little bugger. Look at that. His scale. Right, he's dead. No juice inside. Maybe we finally got the hang of these scale, getting them finished. Right, so I'm going to leave that one. Other ones that I'm going to leave, you can see here this big fat branch. That was grown in 2 years, just letting it grow crazy. So you can see there's a branch up here, branch there, another 2 branches here, so another 2 there. So just under my hand is all the branching, and that's growing up through the top. I'm going to leave that for now, because if I cut it back here, it might get shaded out too much and it might not make it back through the canopy. There's also another one back here, another one here, and that could be it, you know. They might be the only ones I've got to really look out for. I grew them branches because it was a little bit too lean down there. It was probably lean down there because of my, you know, old mentality of left, right, back, left, right, back. And I probably chopped a lot of branches off that I could have kept. So that's a good lesson, not to just go and chop everything off, because then when you get more into bonsai, you'll learn that you should have kept a lot of that stuff. Right. Let's start hedging. So I just got to keep an eye. Actually, what I'll do so I don't cut them off, I'm going to get some tape. Alright guys, got some tape, and all I'm going to do is where these branches come up, I'm just going to put some tape around about the outside silhouette of the tree. I'm just going to put a bit of tape. It'll make more sense when I cut everything else off, because we don't want to chop off all that work we've done. So yeah, back to that, to this Central Coast New South Wales show, which I completely ballsed up by saying, Queensland. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just thinking coast. When you think coast, you think Queensland. I don't know. What an idiot. I'm an idiot. But anyway, if you can make it, if you're in any position to get there, go on a holiday there, whatever, go and support it, because without supporting clubs and shows, bonsai will never grow, and your trees will never become worth anything. Because at the moment, in the current state, trees are worth bugger all. You know why I know that? Because in the past I've tried to sell a couple of trees and people don't want to pay bugger all for it. So as a result, I'm keeping all my trees and I'm not selling them unless someone can offer me some decent bloody money. There's a lot of effort's gone into finding, training, and all that stuff. And then when someone offers you a pittance for it, it's insulting. I'd rather just didn't even ask you all to start with. I feel like there's another branch that I'm missing, but I think we're good. I think we are good. Now, there's a couple at the back I don't want to trim. And so what this will do, once we trim the top, these lower branches that we're going to not trim at all, because they're a little bit weak, they don't get enough sunlight, they'll actually shoot off and really power on. Okay. So I'm just going to take the ones I don't want to trim, because I don't want to get carried away. Because I remember one other time in a video, I was like, oh, my pine's got a beautiful little pine cone, I want to let that grow. I'd finished the video, said my goodbyes, went to put the tree on the shelf, and I'm like, hang on, where's that bloody pine cone? And what happened? Silly me, got carried away in the middle of the video and just chop, 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 chop. Probably, a bit happy on the bees maybe. And it was gone. No pine cone. And since then, that tree almost died. It is coming back. That Japanese red pine is coming back, but I'm not really going to work on it this year because it's pretty weak. But yeah, that's a lesson. Take the ones you don't want to cut off now, because when you get carried away, you never know what's going to happen. In general this year, I will say my trees are super healthy, growing really well, and as you can see, a lot of growth, and a lot of that's thanks to Benny Williams with his fertiliser wand. And talking about that, I've got to fertilise again tonight, but because it's so easy with Benny Williams' new wand, I find myself fertilising every single time I need to, which for me is about every 7 to 10 days. And the growth that I'm getting is huge, absolutely huge. So thanks Benny Williams, absolute blessing. Right, let's get to just trimming it back, hedge pruning style. Another thing I will say is these, the deciduous trees that are fine to cut back in winter, like your Chinese elm and most trees really, in winter, late winter, the ones that are fine to cut back, hedge pruning is great, let it grow out strong, and then basically hedge prune it to a shape. Don't worry about where your shoots come from. Sort that out in winter, because you can just come back in winter time and sort out, you know, whether there's 2 or 3 from any one location. If one of the branches came from the inside and it looks ugly, if one's too straight, you can sort all that out in winter. The main thing you're doing now is just chopping it back so it can regrow and get more ramification. And another thing this does, apart from giving it massive amounts of ramification, is gives it super strength, because you've let the whole tree really grow out super strong, put lots and lots of energy back into the tree. Because I've let it grow out for so long, a lot of energy has gone back in. If you were to chop branches back when they're only like this big, then chop them back, you didn't really get the full energy of the spring flush into the tree, which can be fine if you're going to put in a show for a really refined tree in a show. You would probably have to do that, but if you're just trying to keep the strength of your trees on your benches, I suggest letting them really grow out good and strong in the spring. Don't keep chopping them back when they've only put out a small amount of growth and it hasn't even hardened off yet. Don't chop them back too regularly, otherwise you'll end up with a weak tree prone to infestation. And I actually think that scale on this one, I'm not joking, I think the scale on this one, because I didn't spray this one, I don't know, the scale has just died on this one, all of them seem dead. What's happened, I think, is the sap flow and the sugars, whoops, we're leaving that one, so I'll make sure I stop there. I think the sap flow with all the sugars have actually overdosed all the scale, because it's been too super healthy, and it's actually drowned out the scale to the point that they will die. Because I never touched it, I never sprayed any insecticide on it, never sprayed any pest oil. In fact, I didn't even know it was a scale issue on this. So I think they've just died and turned into powder, because the tree was so strong, there was so much sap into the scale, so many sugars, that they basically drowned on sugar, basically. Maybe they got high, maybe they got really high and drowned on sugar. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I am pretty sure that the more sap flow you have, the more defense your tree has over pests and bugs and stuff. Anyway, don't find yourself getting too caught up trimming back, because I just then was starting to do some fine trimming, you know, like that. Don't worry about that, just leave it. I'm just going to leave it. You've got to teach yourself to hold back a bit. Like I say, if you want any proof on whether this works, go and have a look at someone like Walter Paul. I've mentioned him a few times. Walter Paul is a gangster of an old dude, really cool old dude. I've never met him, but I love watching his videos. Probably never will meet him, but you never know. But he does such a great job, and if you have a look on Instagram, Walter Paul, he has some of the best trees in the world, if not the best. And I love the look of all his trees. And I find if you love the look of someone's trees, learn from them. If you don't like the look of someone's trees, or you think they look too formal, like a, you know, Japanese tree or a pine, they're making all their deciduous look like a pine. If you think someone's starting to do that, don't follow them. But if you like in their style, like them where they're going, copy what they do. So Walter Paul does this, he just trims it. He's actually got a bigger pair of scissors than me, I think, and does it really fast. I'm pretty slow, but I don't have as many trees as him. I think he's got he might have nearly 1,000 trees that he looks after on his own, in his own garden. Doesn't really have a lot of help. Probably has a bit, but a lot of it he can manage himself. So yeah, that guy, check him out, Walter Paul. I'm sure everyone's probably heard of him. If you haven't, go on the deep dive in the YouTube binge and check out all his interviews, all his everything. So I just absolutely love all his interviews. German guy, really direct. No sugar coating anything. He doesn't have no filter on that bloke. Anyway, we'll give him a rest, otherwise next minute I'll be done for slander or something. Right, let's keep going around. Basically just haircut. I'm just haircutting. Now, starting to make sense, the ones that I've left. I can take out the side shoots at the silhouette of the tree. If you want the silhouette of the tree to stand out a bit more, I could take out the side shoots on these branches. It's not going to matter because I'm not going to chop. When I chop these branches, I'm not going to chop them at the outside silhouette of the tree. I'm going to be chopping these big branches back deep inside next spring. I'm not going to do, like I said, I'm not going to do it now because I might not get enough light. If you really had to do it now or wanted to do it now, I'm going to show it and you just really wanted to do it or something. What you could do is you could actually defoliate the whole tree. Just defoliate the whole tree, and that way when you cut these back on the inside, they'll get plenty of light and they'll shoot back. They probably would, you know, I could almost 90% be certain that they're going to shoot back anyway, because Chinese elm is super vigorous tree, so I'd be 90% certain it would happen anyway. But, you know, after, I don't know, 12 years with this tree, I'm not really willing to try, you know. And I don't need to. I got time. Wait till next spring, go again. Chop it back again, do the same next year. Alright, that's it. So super easy. You can see why the hedge method is a great method if you've got a lot of trees, because it takes no time at all to work on quite a big tree. If you were to individually cut every little branch on this tree and shoot select and go back to only 2 in any location, which I will be doing in winter when I can see it, or late winter. But if you were to do that now, it would actually, you know, take you a long time. It would probably be a 3 to 4 hour tree. Instead, you know, probably less than half an hour. Or well less than half an hour. And you can see now, the ones that are left with the white tags on are the ones that come back down to here. Whoops! Uh-oh, Sammy. Here we go. Told you. Look at this. I thought, oh shit, I forgot to tag one. Look at that. Nah, I didn't forget to tag it. I just got carried away again. Look at that. Cut it. You idiot. Anyway, luckily, it's cut well outside the canopy, so it should reshoot out here. But still, you know, like I've said before, what a clown. Absolute clown. Right. So that's about it. We've got pretty well everything cut back to how we sort of want it for now. It's not a finished tree, so I'm not going to treat it like a finished tree, although it is getting closer. Definitely is getting closer. So probably put it on Adrian Eggleton's turntable. I'll just grab that. Well, I would if I knew where it was. Sammy. What did you do to them? I had 3 of Adrian Eagleton's turntables, and I can't find one. I don't know. I had a massive clean up of the shed. Really cleaned it up. Obviously I cleaned it up too much because I can't find turntables. Alright, anyway for now, I'm just going to hand spin it. We'll just have to put up with the grinding on the table. So what can you guys see? We'll come in a bit closer now. As you can see, it is starting to turn into a really cool tree. I'm super proud of this tree. So when this tree first started up, it was probably the size of this branch up here. When I bought it, that was probably nearly 12 years ago. I put it in the ground for, I don't know, I probably had it in a pot when I first bought it for 2 years. Put it in the ground for another 5, 7, and then I've probably been training it for 5 years or something like that. Roughly, it's all rough guess, haven't looked back to see, but I'm super proud of its shape and how it's going. It's going really well. The old lamp post is loving it. Look at this, look at all that growth. Yeah, the reason I call it a lamp post, I'll let you guys in on a bit of a secret. I used to be on Aussie Bonsai. I still am. I think I can still log in Aussie Bonsai forum. And anyway, I posted this tree when I first collected it out the ground. And Mike, I forget his last name, Mike someone, does a lot of maples. He's a fairly abrasive sort of a character, but I like him. He's actually a pretty cool character. Mike somebody. Anyway, he called this a lamppost, said it's just a lamppost, mate. And, you know, that spurred me on to give it a good go. So, when you're a beginner and people tell you your tree's crap and it's a lamppost, just keep pushing on, mate. Keep pushing on. Because you'll get a lot of criticism from all sorts of people about your trees, but if you keep pushing on, age fixes everything. An age of a tree fixes everything. Age trumps design and pretty well everything. If you had a 50-year-old tree, even if you'd done everything wrong but it was still alive, it would probably have an absolute crapload character. So, anyway. Mike somebody, I can't remember. Anyway, I'll give you guys a spin right now. Love this tree. Coming along really nice. Sorry about the noise. Also, make sure you go online and check out that competition. Make sure you go and do that. It's going to be a pretty cool competition. Like I said, if we support all the competitions and everything around Australia, we'll increase awareness of bonsai, increase the value of bonsai, shops will get more money, we'll have more people to talk to about bonsai. It's just a win-win-win. So go and have a look at that, check it out. I hope you guys can get along to the show if you're close, or even enter a tree. I think it's by mid-January or something. Go on the website, have a look, but I think you have to have entries in by mid-January. I'm not sure, you must probably submit a photo, something like that. I didn't really check it out, and you can see I didn't even know what state it was in, which was pretty bad on my part. I'm actually a bit embarrassed about that. Should have at least known what state it was in. Central Coast, New South Wales. Right. Cheers guys, hope you enjoyed the Chinese elm. I hope I didn't yabber on too much. I know I did talk a lot of poo-poo. And anyway, it was a fun video. I'm just going to drink the beer in a second, but I've got to let it cool down. So I've got to pause the video, and then I'll finish drinking a beer at the end and give you an honest review of the beer. Cheers Rob. And thanks everyone. go, guys. This is Rob's Stone and Wood beer. Let's give it a go. What do you reckon, Lee? Come here. Come here. Who's your boy? Who's your boy? Oh. Love you, Bob. It's all good. It's good. It's good. Love you, bud. Right. Let's give this stone and wood a go. I'll just smash the top off and let's get to it. Ooh! No, I don't think I'll try that. I might try this. Ooh. There we go. Bloody beauty. Let's give it a go. Stone and wood. Let's have a taste. It's a Pacific Ale. I've been missing out. Right, you're on to a winner, mate. This is bloody nice ale.